Hey everybody, welcome to Astronaut Lounge. I am Poppa Stonks, and today we have Owners Unity. Owners Unity is a BSC token project that is offering their holders passive income through 8 different real-world revenue streams. Um, this this project is about to be in pre-sale with a fully doxed and KYC through Assure KYC. So if anybody knows anything about Assure KYC, they have the gold standard KYC. And I will go ahead and let Scott touch a little bit on that himself. Scott, Daz, which is Scott, by the way. He is the CEO and founder of Owners Unity, and he is here to tell us about his project. So, Daz, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background in the space and in real world business.
I will do. Thanks very much for having us. It's great to be here. If you hear some chuntering in the background, it's my boy. I'm watching him today, and he's sitting here next to me, so you'll probably hear him muttering on. Right. Hi all. My name is Scott Shearer. Das is my TG tag. Born in England, but I live just outside of Gdansk in Poland. We are doxed by Assured DeFi, KYC'd by Assured, KYC'd by Anonydox as well, and also KYC'd back in the day by Reflex. Shows you how long we've been about. I'll start with myself, then I'll go a bit about the project. I started off in construction as a labourer, moved up to a ground worker, then worked through project management software into renewables, business consultancy, and I opened my own business consultancy in 2013. I have extensive ties in the industry, and I've brought some of those people onto this business with me. I think it's important that I just run you through a few of them as well, just so you get an idea of who we are as a business. Paul Somerville is a CMO. He's got 15 plus years experience in promotions globally. He has promoted all across, as I said, the world. He's worked with some chief players with regards to celebrities, some famous photographers. He deals in luxury brands, so he's done a lot of celebrity boot camps, etc., that type of thing. He's currently in Georgia, where he's setting up and working through one of our products, which we'll talk about later. Harvey, who I believe is on the call, I've known Harvey since the start of the 2000s. He's an analyst with us. He works with numbers. He's got maths degree. He has run 3 or 4 businesses as well. So yeah, he helps us with some numbers. Simon Henderson, I've known also since the mid to late 2000s. We worked together in the project management software business, but he's worked in estate agency or real estate for a long time, 15 odd years. He opened his own lettings agency in the early 2010s. So he's on as a property advisor as well. Barry McGinn, I've known Barry since the mid 2000s. He has worked in capital construction projects globally. He's currently working on the Neom City and the Red Sea project in Saudi Arabia. Shay Taylor, I went to school with. He's a property advisor. He bought his first property at 18. He's now got a multi-million pound portfolio. The rest of the team have come on through merit. So you've got Rupraj, who is our chief of operations. Most people in the space know him as Golden Hands. He's been involved in businesses and other projects. He's been in the space since about 2018, I believe. Lewis, who's on here as well, who's on the call as well. I'll let him explain more about himself, but he's obviously come on through merit as well. He works in banking and finance, but he's also a full stack developer, and he's got multiple years experience in the space as well. Sal and Malik are both in Australia. They've both been involved in crypto for a long time as well. I also met them through the space. So there's a mixture of people I've known for a long time due to their business ties, and obviously people in the space. I've got to mention the four horsemen quickly. That's Evan or Plurtz, he's on the call. Moon Booty, I don't know if he's on the call. Brandon, then there is Tyson, T-Bot, and also Lawgiver Jordan. They have relevant expertise. Evan is a supply side manager. Tyson runs his own realtors business in America, so that's obviously relevant. Moon Booty works in sales and works in finance, so he's obviously relevant. And Jordan works, excuse me, in renewables. He does project management in, capital construction based around renewable energy. So, all of these people are relevant. So we have a big team, and everyone has multiple years of experience. My individual experience with crypto started I first heard about crypto in 2011 when a friend of mine, Chris Seal, suggested that I should look into Bitcoin. I said no, it was a silly idea. So little did I know. And then in 2018, I purchased my first token, my first coin actually, which was Cardano, and I've sort of been in or around the space ever since. So that's me as an individual, and that's the team. There are obviously also members of the team that can't be doxed due to their current work positions. We have an extensive team that covers all areas. The business that we have, Owners Unity, it's the name says it. It's about returning some form of power back to the consumer and just trying to even the balance. The way that we do this is by utilizing a very specific business model that we have, and that business model can be utilized in several different fields. We have found that the first fields that we've chosen to utilize it in are energy, because we have chosen robust industries because we're looking to fuse the benefits of blockchain and crypto into real world businesses in a way that enhances A, the business practices, and B, can provide tangible benefits to everyday people in a fashion that will hopefully change some of the impressions that they have about crypto due to, all of the press that's always out there, which is mainly negative, and actually, bring them into the space, make them curious, drive adoption, and then obviously we can work on educating them and growing the marketplace for everyone. You'll have to forgive me because my boy obviously is making some noises, so he's I'm trying to focus on him and you guys at the same time. But that's it in a nutshell.
Awesome, man, and no problem. Trust me, I know how kids can be, and I have 3 of them myself. So, I actually kind of lost a little bit of that myself because somebody called me, and then my whole headset just kind of cut off on me. But let's get into So the the real world utilities, you've got owner's utility, which is the power, the I guess renewable energy. Um, there's 7 other industries or businesses that are tied into this. So what are those?
I just have to make a correction. There are up to 8 passive income streams, but at the moment there are 4 revenue streams. So we have 4 businesses that work both in the crypto ecosystem and real world. And then obviously they generate revenue, and the revenue goes for our tokenomics, and it's our distinct tokenomics that assists us in being able to provide the passive income streams that we can. So the businesses, for instance, are CVP, which is Client Verification Protocol, which we believe in KYC. KYC is important, but we don't feel that it does enough still. All of the information should be available to allow people to make as educated a decision, as is possible. Everyone has the right to, their privacy, and everyone has the right to, build businesses. You shouldn't be dragged over the coals for something you did 20, 25 years ago. So, for instance, if you used to be a bit of a fighter when you was a teenager in your early 20s, and then you're 40 years old and you're working in finance, does going to a football match on a Saturday and, being one of the boys really negate your ability to run a business 25 years later? I would say that kind of information's not pertinent. But obviously, if you're out there committing wire fraud every other week, that's the kind of information that investors should know. So we're looking at CVP to make this kind of information available in accordance with statutory regulations, and give people the most informed product that we can, so that they can make a decision based on all of the information at hand. There's always going to be gaps, obviously, but that's what we look to do with CVP. Sensation is a content creator platform. It deals with obviously your models, but also photographers, and it's unique in the sense that it is fan orientated. So there are leaderboards for the fans, not just the content creators. And Paul, like I said, this is his baby. He's working hard on this. He has the connections to offer, and it's part of what he does. He will offer prizes for people that finish at the top of the leaderboards, where they can go on, these celebrity boot camps. They can go on photo shoots with the models, and other luxury items that he is working on in partnership with other people. So that's what he does with Sensation. That's 2 of them. The energy brokerage I'll leave till last, because obviously, I'll just deal with it now. The energy brokerage is key. It's like the heart of what we do. The reason why is because it's a robust industry. Look at it. Even though the world is suffering from some pretty adverse economic conditions at the moment, all of the energy suppliers and wholesalers are producing record profits. So it's a field that is pretty robust. And if you have industries that are robust, that can generate revenue, that will help negate the volatility of the crypto ecosystem. So our business model is designed to have a buffer that offers mitigation with regards to the way that your passive income is received. So, if you just have a traditional token that has, rewards, it's all good when the market is up, or there's a bit of news or a product that's coming out. People push the price up, and then they sell, the price goes down, then it goes flat, and you end up receiving no rewards. Whereas with our business model, it's not a closed system, so you have revenue being generated external of the crypto sphere, which still comes in and goes back to you guys. And something else we're doing, which is unique as far as I'm aware in the space, is we are providing equity in our real world businesses to our holders. So we take into account that some people still want to hold on to the whole anonymity of the space. And if that's your particular thing, then we have the passive income streams through the token. If you are forward thinking and you accept that regulation is coming to this space, and it is, let's not beat around the bush, it's best to be proactive and not reactive. So we have shares in our real world companies that we are working on tying to NFTs, and those NFTs are a reward to our early adapters to start with. So our early adapters will receive NFTs with shares tied to them in the real world businesses, which then provides an additional revenue stream because you'll receive dividends. And then we will also produce an NFT collection that will be available for sale, where people can then purchase specific company shares. If you do that, then you have to KYC, but most people in the space are aware that regulations come in. So, that's something that is it's at your discretion whether you want to own part of a business. And most people in this space, I believe, are in this space to make money. And if you can receive real world equity in a business, receive revenue from that, and receive revenue from the tokenomics, this is what we mean by being a hybrid business model, where we utilize the best out of crypto and blockchain, fuse that with real world business practices, and hopefully drive a model that benefits everyone moving forward. And it's a very simple model. It's just not being greedy. So instead of, for instance, doing buybacks and sending bonuses and dividends upstairs, we return the revenue back into the kitty for everyone. We don't take bonuses, we don't take dividends, we don't need to. And we're working on something which I can't talk about. I signed an NDA with someone today, and I'm going to go into discussions with them in the near future about rolling out a product that will be truly revolutionary in the real world blockchain space. So that's a basic understanding of what we do and where we are. The OUPP and the OUPM, which are two other utilities that we are producing, real world. Simon and Tyson, who are the real estate people, they are working on that, and I think the website will be up and running shortly, and then we'll be looking at what we can do with that. We have multiple CRM systems, obviously different businesses, different CRM systems, but what we plan to do is upload all of the APIs that we can, and we're building out Adapt, so you guys will have full accessibility from the moment that revenue comes into any of our businesses right through to the end distribution. So you'll, what comes back to you guys, what goes to the tax man, etc., etc. We're not here for 6 or 12 months. This is a long-term real-world business. It has multiple real-world businesses in operation, and we're looking to build out a model that benefits not only you guys as holders, but also our clients. Because as a business, we believe that the best way to generate revenue is profit by volume. So if we return monies to everyone, then that gives them more spend. They have a better feel about our business. We get word of mouth, positive advertising. That should bring in a larger share of the market, and it's better to have 75% of 12.5% market share than it is to have 100% of 5% of the overall market share. So we are business people, but we also believe that it's better not to be greedy. Being greedy is, it'll get you nowhere fast. If you're prepared to redistribute a little bit of the revenue, make sure everyone gets something out of it, then you're doing a lot of good for a lot of people, and you're also generating revenue for your holders. That's it in a nutshell. Again.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And I hear your son is definitely very vocal on the matter. He sounds pretty bullish on this.
Yeah, he's bullish on trains. He's 8 and he's on the spectrum, so he's not taking any notice of what I'm doing. He's busy watching trains.
There we go. Yeah, I thought you said trades at first. And my daughter, she's almost 8, and she used to love looking at charts with me and learning how to read charts. So that's where I thought you were saying. But so as this, where's the main corporation registered as far as this goes, as far as the project goes?
They're in the UK at the moment.
UK. And how are you guys kind of skirting by the security laws and not becoming a security with all the business revenue coming back into the token basically as shareholders?
Yeah, we're not trying to skirt any regulations. I spoke to the FCA, which is the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, with regards to what we're doing. They're fine with what we're doing because we're not loaning and we're not borrowing any money. Most of it's about the wording. As I'm sure you're aware, legally it's mainly about how you word things and how you put that down into a legal document. When the time comes, we plan to be fully compliant because 90% of cryptos will end up being labeled. Well, we are labeled as securities anyway. Let's be honest. Yeah. The SEC's already said that 99% of cryptos are security. They're just unregistered, so they'll get round to us as and when they can. So rather than wait for the bell to toll and be panicked, we've got a positive mindset. We have advisors, like I said, who aren't on our website, but one of the advisors, he's well known in this space as well. He works in finance. He's worked in New York in banking. We've come up with a strategy with regards to the shares, which is what we're doing, and that will be a legal strategy moving forward. We'll do what we're doing in the UK because we are a private limited company. We don't fall under all of the regulations of a publicly traded company. So there are slight differences between what you can and can't do. But we will, we'll do what we're doing, and in the background we will work to make sure that we are compliant. And then when the regulation comes in, we'll already be, 90% there, and then it's just down to them to decide what they want to do. Because remember, look what they've done with Coinbase. Coinbase went to them and said, here's what we're doing. They said, yeah, that's fine. And now they're saying, no, we're not happy with that. We're taking it to court. So you can only do as much as you can do. And then you just have to see what they're going to do and respond to it and mitigate, whatever you can. So that's the plan.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it is an ever-changing, ever-changing regulation in this space. So, you've kind of got to be able to roll with the punches and try to look ahead a little bit. Um, but all right, so yeah, let's backtrack a little bit here. I see you guys go all the way back to Reflex, and that has been a while. So how long have you guys been? How long have you been working on this and building this community uh, before you were, getting ready to launch this token?
Yeah, we started in October of 2021 with the concepts goes back further than that, but we actually sort of laid the foundations in October of 2021. We spent time, we drew up the white paper, and then we bought the concept out, put the concept out there. Obviously, where it is a new concept, there was a lot of trepidation from the community, and a lot of people didn't get what we were doing to start with. Thought we were doing loans and financing, even though it quite clearly states that we're not doing that. So what we decided to do was go and spend the time to build out the product. So we told people what we were going to do. If you look at our white paper, it's very in depth and lays out basically everything we do except the very, very core of our product, because obviously if you lay everything out there, someone will just go, thank you very much. And but if you look at our if you look at our documentation, it's in depth. It tells you basically every aspect of our business, what it does, how it interacts with the other areas of the business, the utilities, etc., how the revenue is generated. Obviously, we also support the data that we use by quoting the references that we've got them from, so you can go and check the data that we use yourself. But we thought, yeah, okay, we are new in the space with regards to what we're doing, because we're trying to push the envelope and actually move, blockchain and crypto into the real world. To do that, you have to play by their rules, and that means adopting, some of their practices and their methods. So we did. We went out, we built out the businesses, we built out a couple of crypto utilities. So, we've got staking, for instance. We've got another two that will be coming out shortly after launch. And that's what we've taken the time to do. And obviously, as I'm sure anyone in here who is involved in business is aware, is, if you want to put a business in place, you've got to, especially if you're working, in the energy sector or in the housing sector, you've got to get your documentation. You've got to speak, like I said, to the FCA or whichever the body is in your specific country. You've got to get the solicitors to check your documentation in the different countries to make sure that it's valid. And that you can trade in those countries. So we've had it checked in India, we've had it checked in Australia. We're okay in those countries. We're okay in Europe. In the EU, it does still come down to a member state. So whilst there is a general framework, it's still different from country to country. It's the same in America with the different states. So we've done a lot in the background. Then obviously you've got testing the CRM systems, finding out which CRM system has the best APIs, because if you have the business model that we have and you have the direction set where you want to go in, then you need to, be able to get that data transferred onto the blockchain for the transparency and obviously for the security. So we've took time doing that. And then obviously we've come back and we've said to people, right, this is what we said we were going to do. This is what we've done. And, our roadmap is at a point now where, there's not really much else we can build out and delay launching. We've literally verified what we said we were going to do and put everything in place. And now we're ready to launch. But it's been a long time. But when you're building out a hybrid revolutionary business model, you have to test it. You have to make sure that things are done correctly. And obviously, it never runs as smooth as you'd like to in the first place. The government in the UK changed legislation in, well, the back end of last year. There's a different arbitration policy in place. Basically, they just wanted to get more money off people. So there's an additional charge there, but you had to fill out the documentation. We obviously had the documentation in the name of one business. We switched it to another business. We switched from one main supplier to a different main supplier because they had better APIs on their CRM system. With the legislative change, they then decided to rework all of their business model. There was a 3-month hiatus whilst they, reworked their business model through legal before we could, actually get the product in our hands and start working from it. We've spent time negotiating with a new partner in America so we can provide business contracts in the deregulated states in the US. So when you're doing these kind of things, it takes time, and we wanted to be a business in the traditional sense where rather than, it happens a lot in crypto, it's neither a good nor bad thing. But if you get the right person to tell you that a product is superb, loads of people ape in, purchase a product and get nothing for it. With us, we've gone the other way and said, here's our product, try it, test it. If you like it, come on board. We have proof of concept to a degree. We've tested pretty much everything that we need to do. We know where we're going and what will happen, and we're expecting to be the type of product and business that grows over time, because once people see what we're doing and once people gain the benefits of what we're doing, that's when we believe that the tipping point will be.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's just touch on. Okay, so you've already got these facilities up and running. The main ones that you spoke on, they're already up and running. What is your overhead and what is your profit? And how much of that profit is being put back into the token side, as far as the BUSD rewards, and how sustainable is that without basically without any volume coming into the token? Like, how is the token tied into the business?
Okay, the token is tied into the business through the rewards system, and it is another way of topping up the revenue. So it's not meant to be the main revenue producer. It's meant to engage people, bring them on board from the DeFi space, and as we grow, which most people do, it's a way to crowdfund, bring a bit of revenue in to make sure that we move forward and we don't have too many pitfalls. With regards to the real world businesses, each different business has a different business model, so the overheads are different. If I start with the energy brokerage, because that's the easiest way to work. If you think of the energy brokerage, all you have to cover are staff costs, the utilities, as in telecoms, electric, gas, obviously.
Then the energy brokerage, that's owner's utility.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Yes. And then obviously you pay for the CRM, etc. But the overheads are quite minimal because you don't, and that's the beauty of the energy sector. As a TPI or a third party intermediary, we don't hold any stock. We don't purchase any stock. So all we do is facilitate the supplier or the wholesaler providing the contract to the business. And the way that you generate revenue is you get an uplift from the supplier sells it at one price, you sell it at another price, and then you make a profit per kilowatt hour in the UK. I think it's pretty much the same in America. It's per kilowatt hour that you make your markup on, your profit on. So
Yep.
in the UK, the average revenue per month for a salesperson is between £10,000 and £25,000 per month. Once you take off the overheads and cover the costs, you are left with anywhere between £8,000 and £15,000 per month. So if you work up to 16 salespeople, you should be able to generate between 80,000 and £250,000 per month. So it's not £8,000. It's less than that. I do apologise. You're not going to give someone £2,000 on a 10 grand commission. So yeah, no,
yeah, I was going to jump on that.
Yeah, no. So that figure's incorrect. I do apologise about that. But the more they earn, the more it brings in. And if you've got 16 salespeople all hitting a reasonable target, you should be doing between 100,000 and 250,000 per month profit. That revenue goes into our system. We don't take anything out of it. The whole idea is that the revenue generated goes into the system. We will utilize that revenue to then purchase properties for the OUPM so that we own them outright. There are also other industries that we're moving into, which I can't announce at this moment in time, but we will be generating our own revenue and purchasing our own product, because we are trying to start a new system that doesn't use any leverage. So we've got no VC investment. We've got no super whales. We don't mind whales, don't get me wrong, but we've not got one person holding 15% of the total supply or anything like that. It will take time. We are bootstrapping, so we are doing it a very traditional way, but the energy industry is one of the best ways to generate revenue. And that's why we have utilized our experience and our knowledge in the field to start in that specific business. And you will have bad months. Obviously, you'll have bad months, but you'll have good months too. And that's the beauty of the sector in itself. And when you have a bad month, you tend to have more good months than bad months. And the way that you get paid, it's one that increases over time. So the two methods of payment are usually upfront, contingent on the length of the contract, or the other one is to get paid monthly in arrears. So if you're sensible, you get paid monthly in arrears, because that way you get no clawbacks. It's just done on the actual usage as opposed to estimates. So if you take 85% up front and then something like COVID happens, you leave yourself in trouble. Whereas if you just do it based on the actual supply that's used, you can't be in trouble. Plus, you can build it up over time and you can forecast, and then obviously you can plan for 24, 36 months ahead and know what revenue or approximately what revenue you're getting in. It's usually quite an accurate forecast you can do like that, because not too many businesses go under or miss payments for too long. So that's why we've chosen that industry, and that's what we've based one of the core tenets on our product on. But like I said, the business model itself can be utilized in additional industries, and there are industries out there where you can have the same outlay, because obviously tying up 100,000 in capital for 10 to 15 years for a minimal return is not something you want to do unless you have, recurring revenue coming in.
Yeah.
But we also have other areas we can work in where, you can spend, say, 8,000. I know exactly what the figures are. You can spend £8,000 and bring in the same revenue as you would do tying up the £100,000. So if you multiply, obviously that you're going to get, 12 times the amount of monthly revenue generated. So it's knowing your market and knowing what splits you're going to have to generate the revenue, being able to tie up a certain percentage of your overall company's revenue in long-term investment, and then obviously having the short to medium term recurring revenue coming in, and then have the product that you have that revenue tied up in have a resale value as well. So yeah, if that makes sense to people.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely kind of made sense to me. Some of it I got lost a little bit on. Let's just touch on, okay, so OUPM, that's going to be the property management side, correct?
It is. Yeah, it is also just one. It's just a utility in the overall business model as well. It's our crown jewel, but it will take us time to get there and make that exactly what we want it to be.
Right. And so right now you've got the the utility, the power revenue from that is going into OUPM. How much have you raised through that revenue source for OUPM? And how is that going to work? I think Tyson is in here. T-Bot, where are you at? He was. Going to have him come up and actually talk about that.
Yeah, no, feel free if he's still here.
He's not. He he dipped out on us. He faded. I'm gonna have to yell at him later.
Yeah,
But, if you want to touch on it, that would be awesome.
yeah, sure. The way that the revenue is generated, like I said, is through the energy brokerage, and the other utilities are generating revenue, which then goes into our tokenomics, which is designed to produce revenue, which then goes back to you guys as passive income. But it also goes back to helping us to purchase the assets that we need to make this business work. But the property management side is something that we've worked on for a long time. It's if I was the closest thing there is to it at the moment is a rent to own. So we purchase the property. We put people into the properties utilizing the affordability check. The affordability check is not based on a credit check. So although we go through the normal processes, we don't use an algorithm as such to, disqualify people without looking at the reasons behind things. Because obviously, especially in the past couple of years, there's a lot more people out there that have adverse credit, and they could afford a mortgage if they could, if they could pass the credit referencing. And most places are now easing up on the actual mortgage requirements to try and get more people into mortgages. The way our system works is, like I said, if you can show that you have the ability to make payments, if you've missed one payment in 5 years, we don't have an issue with that. You guys in America are probably aware as well, that a lot of people have had a medical emergency and they've had to make a choice of staying alive or paying for a loved one's medical emergency or paying the bills, and they could have had a perfect history up until that point. So, these things need to be taken into consideration. We're very community orientated. So once we've stripped out all of the data protected information, we give the people a reference number. We pass the information forward to the community, and the community decides who gets onto the program. Once they're in situ, they will pay for the property only the total that the property costs, including the solicitors' costs. There's no interest on the payments, and that's helps
Well,
people. Go on.
so if there's no interest on the payments, they're only paying basically what you paid plus the closing costs. What is the benefit? What is the profit for Owners Unity?
The profit for Owners Unity is the revenue that we get in. So if we stick someone in situ in the house, they pay us money. We then utilise that money. And like I said, it's just not being greedy. We take that money, we invest it, and with the profits that are created from our investment, we redistribute that back to them, and we keep some of it ourselves.
Got you. Okay, I got you. So basically, you're not charging the end user any interest, or you're not collecting any profit. You're giving them the property at cost minus closing costs. But in the meantime, in the interim, you are investing that money in something else to generate the income.
Yeah, using the system against itself to generate a little bit of revenue to give back to people. And like I said, the way we intend to make money is by doing this. And this is just one section of what we do. There are other sections of what we do where we do generate revenue. That revenue is profit. The property side of it isn't the whole picture of what Owners Unity does. So if we get more people into our properties, we then generate more revenue. That revenue then generates more profit, etc., etc. So like I said, it's just about not being greedy. If you've got a product, you put that product out there, you do make a profit off that product. You're just not making it off the end user. You're just taking your average person's dead money. So, the money that they spend, they work hard for, they spend it, and then that's it, it's gone, and they have to slave away for another month, etc., etc. All we're doing is utilising the current system that's out there and taking a little bit back off of the corporations and the people that are paying themselves massive bonuses and massive dividends, and we're just redistributing a percentage of that. And hopefully by doing that, more people will come and utilise our product. And by more people utilising our product, we will generate more revenue to also fulfil the other areas of our roadmap, which aren't as altruistic as that one specific area. We are a business, so it's not every area of our business where we are providing that specific service. There are other areas of our business that will be generating revenue, and that revenue generates profits. The profits goes through the shareholders, which will be you guys as NFTs. So technically, there's up to 9 passive income streams. The 8 passive income streams are for the token holders. But if you also hold a couple of NFTs, one for Owners Unity's OU Outhouse, and the other one for shares in the real world businesses, then you get dividends because the real world businesses are there to make profit. Just to clarify, we are a business. We're not in this to lose money. We're not a non-profit. We're in this to make money.
Yep, 100%, man. And I love that. I love that aspect. Everybody needs housing. So, you're making it, basically, you're making it a lot more affordable for them to do this, rent to own without the interest and everything else, but generating, a residual income stream to go into other investment vehicles, to create this passive income for the holders. So that's pretty awesome. And sorry, I was just fighting with my daughter over jelly beans.
That's all right. And there's a cherry on the top as well. T-Bot's back, so he'll be able to, he must have heard you, so he'll be able to say something. But
I'm guessing T Money went and told him that I was going to yell at him.
The cherry on the top as well is with our properties, we are tying a portfolio to the properties. So the properties will then also provide a passive income to the incumbent for as long as the house stands.
Yeah, definitely. So, T-Bot, what's up, man? You want to kind of jump in and touch on some of this a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your part in the project and what you are doing and how that's playing into the revenue coming into the project. I know you heard.
He might have his youngest with him, and therefore he can listen, but he can't speak. I know he does that a lot, like a lurker.
He is definitely a lurker. He never. I don't think I've ever heard him talk on VC. All right, so let's see. So just overall, out of the 8 or whatever, out of the total amount of revenue streams, what is the percentage going back to the holders? I know, if you don't want to stake, you can get 4% BUSD rewards. If you do stake, you can get 12% BUSD rewards. Why the difference, and why, and how does that work? How are those percentages split up? What just happened here? Am I getting botted? Okay. Yeah. Did you hear the question though?
Yeah, I did, and I'll take myself off mute and finish talk. So you've got your traditional tokenomics. So you've got your buy tax, you've got your sales tax, and you've got your staking. Okay, that's your traditional, normal 3 ways. I know there's a few other ways, but we've decided that we want to be as fair as we can. And looking at the figures and the percentages needed, 12.5% of the secondary tokenomics will be divided amongst staked holders, because there will be, it's a higher reward percentage because you want to incentivize people to stake, hodl, and then, that revenue is secure. They're generating their passive income, which is what you want people to do. You want people to hold, because we are a hybrid product. So we want our chart to be as stable as possible. So obviously, if we can incentivize people to hold, they will hold, and that obviously helps with your chart. The 5% for all holders is because not everyone wants to stake, and I know we're just trying to be as fair to everyone as possible. If you've invested or bought our token, because of the way our tokenomics are structured, we are looking to reward people as much as is possible, but without leaving the company's insufficient revenue to support the LP pool, to purchase additional assets, to fund the charitable organizations that we plan to fund. So we felt that we possibly could have gone up to 15% with regards to staking. But that was pushing it, and that would have just been for the sake of patting yourself on the back. A realistic a more realistic figure was 12.5% because of the type of assets that we're looking to purchase. As we grow, those figures will change, obviously. Those figures are also unsustainable in perpetuity, so there will have to be some changes to the percentages moving forward. But that was the reason for the 12.5 and the 5%. With regards to the owners unity outhouse, that's a bit of fun. We didn't want to lose the whole essence of crypto and putting a little smile on people's faces. So we're producing an NFT collection. 10% of the overall token supply is locked in definitely. The rewards that are generated from that are then divided amongst the NFTs, with 70% being divided amongst the NFT holders. Then 10% will go to charity, and 20% every month, one NFT holder will be chosen and they will receive a 20% portion for themselves. So that's like a jackpot, so to speak, but not in the lottery sense. The tertiary tokenomics is based on overflow, because like I said, we're trying to be as fair as possible. So a question you asked earlier was how much of the revenue is going back in after overheads, etc., etc. In the tokenomics, we've put a figure which we believe will cover the overheads from the revenue generated. That is 20% going back to owners unity. Let's say, just keep the figure simple. Let's say it's $1,000, this 20%, and this particular month, hypothetically, it's $1,000, and the overheads for the company that month were only $500. Rather than tuck the $500 away or give everyone a bonus, we then put that back into a secondary system that is then utilized to garner additional revenue, and then that revenue is distributed back to all of the parties involved in our ecosystem. That's how we are utilized, because like I said, if you actually look at the industries we're in and the figures that we're working with, you can afford to return the revenue to people, because again, it's a situation of not being greedy, having a product, utilizing it, being fair, returning revenue to people. That will hopefully then provide people with an incentive to look into crypto, because it's providing them revenue. You guys are already here, so you don't need an incentive to be involved in crypto. They come into the space. We're working with a lot of good people in the space to make the space safer, to elucidate people with regards to the safe way to do business, the safe projects to look into, the lounges that you need to go to, the people you want to converse with. So like I said, it's all about driving adoption, because if you look at the total amount of people that have actually dipped their toe in crypto, we're still at the very beginning, and there is a lot of space to move into. But to move into that space, we need to push the envelope. We can't stay in our little DeFi bubble, building out yield farms, although we do have a yield farm in our in our white paper. But we need to take the benefits of blockchain and the benefits of crypto, and we need to make it accessible to everyday people, and to make it mainstream. And to do that, we need to, move products and push products forward. We believe our product is only one of many that will move forward in this space and look to be a transitional product. It's not fully formed. We've had a lot of good advice from a lot of people, and we've utilized that advice, and we believe we've built out a far superior product to the one that we conceived in September, October of 2021. We also know that our product will continue to change and evolve over time. But we are moving into the real world, and we're taking blockchain and we're taking crypto into the real world because that's where it needs to be. And I'm sure most of you guys here believe that fiat is on the way out at some point, and crypto and blockchain are here to be the pretenders and to take the crown at some point. And we want to be hopefully partially instrumental in doing that by opening the door just a touch and putting a business model out there that is a real world functional utility that can be adopted in multiple industries, because it can, as we have additional utilities that we're rolling out in other industries. And then, if we get a foothold, other businesses will have to start adopting a similar type of business model, and that can only be good for everyone in this space as of today.
Quick, so yeah, 100%. I fully believe that crypto is the future, and I really believe that fiat is a scam. With that said, how does the actual token tie into paying for these utilities instead of just the utilities paying the token? How are you using the token for the utilities?
We're not at the moment. It's something, like I said, it's a transitional process, and you have to do things slowly. If we go out there and we produce a product, the energy brokerage or the property management site, and we present it as a crypto-based product, we're going to fall flat on our faces. So what you need to do is you start with the crypto in the background, just doing what it does. You have the real world business, which looks like a traditional fiat-based product. But what you then do is you introduce the crypto into the product. So, for instance, the properties have a portfolio. The portfolio will be filled. The clients have a choice of either 50-50 traditional stocks and shares and crypto, or a 100% crypto portfolio. So whichever way they go, they're getting introduced to crypto, but the crypto goes into a portfolio. So it's a bonus to them. They're paying their money, they're getting their property, and they're also getting a portfolio, which provides a passive income for them. Then they're receiving the passive income from the portfolio. So they are then seeing that crypto is providing them with an additional revenue stream, which is probably something that they don't realize that it can do for them because of all the crap that they hear about crypto. They probably have no idea the difference between blockchain and crypto. So you have to educate them on these types of things as well. So then once they have the crypto in the portfolio, we allow them, we are in talks with a company that provides debit cards, which obviously use fiat and crypto. We then provide our clients with a card. That card allows them access to the portfolio. Therefore, it gives them extra revenue. They can go in a shop if they're short 1 month. And this is a hypothetical situation, but this is exactly what the portfolio, and we all know what the cards that are out there can do and are being produced to do. So they can just go in a shop, they can purchase something in fiat, it instantly sorry about this, 1 second. There you go. It instantly converts the crypto into fiat. They get the benefit from that, and they realize that it has multiple uses and multiple purposes for them. Hopefully, from there, we can then bring them into the space slowly by then introducing over time the ability to pay for their monthly payments by crypto. And you can work with your partners and you can offer them multiple different cryptos to make payment in. So you introduce it to them slowly over time. You don't beat them over the head with it from day one. So, as is at the moment, the crypto aspect of the real world businesses is a minimal percentage because we are trying to introduce it in a way that is non-threatening and provides tangible benefits, because most people, once you provide them with a tangible benefit that enhances their life, they don't care what they read in the papers about it. It's a case of a real world use case against, whatever propaganda there is in the paper at any given time. China's banning Bitcoin for the 98th time, or, whatever happens. So that's the approach that we're taking. So it is integral. Crypto is 100% integral with regards to what we do. But like I said, we are a business that has a long-term roadmap. We plan to be around for a long time, and we plan, hopefully, to introduce crypto to people in a way that is non-threatening and provides benefits. And once the benefit has been provided, we can then open the door just a little bit wider, just a little bit at a time, and bring them into the space. And I'll just end on this. We have a format of where we're going that involves a specific business model that we believe is a transitional stage towards decoupling from fiat, because I believe we have to get rid of fiat.
Awesome, man. Okay, so yeah, so with all that said, do you foresee, people being able to pay for their, for their power, for for their properties in the in OUT and owner's utility token?
Whether it's owner's utility token or whether we need to produce a secondary token that isn't a reward token, because it's a bit unfair, getting people to purchase the token and then them having to pay a fixed amount every month with the issues and the fluctuation. So if you had more of a, dare I say, stable type coin, then you may be able to utilize that into the ecosystem.
You're already rewarding in BUSD. So, could people potentially get a discount on their services that they paid with in crypto instead of fiat? Because, at the end of the day, that actually saves you a little bit of money, and you're still able to pay out the rewards.
You're ahead of a lot of people on our roadmap, but we are looking at every option to move adoption of crypto forward. And like I said, I believe that fiat shouldn't be utilized.
I know. I tend to stay ahead of some people's roadmaps, but that's that's where we're eventually going with all this. With any long-term crypto project needs to look at further adoption and basically trying to replace fiat, in my opinion. So, with that said, like, are you also looking into maybe having a fiat on-ramp to, get the tokens or crypto to pay for these services? Hypothetically, since we are ahead of the game here.
We are looking, how can I say it? Well, with regards to an on-off ramp, we're partnered with a company that is making moves in the space at the moment with regards to the basic level. But we want to do something different, and I'll explain it to you very briefly. So Ember, we're partnered with Ember at the moment, and we're also working with a different company in the background with regards to something else, which I can't talk about in great depth. This is a scenario for you. So let's imagine that you've built out a closed ecosystem that is run entirely internally on crypto. There's no fiat in this closed system. You have a single conduit, a single fiat conduit. So the fiat, so whatever you produce, that is then sold onto the greater market for fiat, but obviously it is exchanged into crypto in your space. The people that are in your closed system, they all have access to on-off ramps, so they can live within this closed system, but then if they go outside of the closed system, they can use the whatever local currency is required, but that card obviously converts the funds from crypto into fiat. Imagine then that you have another closed ecosystem in another country that deals specifically with the other ecosystem, and you have this network. So they're all dealing with each other solely on crypto, and it's only when they are, whether it's, purchasing goods, materials outside of their ecosystem, that they have to use fiat. If you build up enough of those systems in enough places where you can cover, the raw materials, building products, all of the products that you need to have a good standard of living, then technically your ecosystem can decouple from fiat once you get to the tipping point. That's obviously not going to happen in my lifetime, or probably a lot of people on here, unless something drastic happens. But we can start by building out the first ecosystems and work on that basis. There's no reason why you can't have a closed ecosystem, like I said, that runs solely on a specific cryptocurrency and then only has to interact with the outside world using fiat. And that's something that we may or may not have looked into.
Okay. Well, may or may not. It sounds pretty bullish, or at least on the bullish side, I would say. Let's see. So we've touched on. I kind of want to know about the sensation. What's going on with the content creator platform?
Yeah, you can go if you got your computer open, you can just type in sensation.co and go and have a look, and it explains it a lot better than I can. It's basically like Paul loves he loves giving people the opportunity of a high-end product without them having to pay high-end prices. He's always been really good at that. So what he came up with was it's a subscription model, like most of them are, but you're not going to go on there and if you're looking for porn, it's the wrong site to go on to start with. So you're not going to get any of that on there. That doesn't mean that it's an artistic platform where people get to express themselves in a fashion that a lot of people can appreciate without debasing themselves. The human form in itself can be beautiful, and it's not, and it doesn't have to be, 5 stone soaked through or anything like that. There's, tattoos. If you like ink, you can go and watch tattooed models, male, female, gender neutral, whatever.
Different of body art and body, whatever that you can search and discuss, right?
If you like cars, if you like cars, and you want to start your own page and put some muscle cars on there or anything, it's not specifically just based around individuals. It's meant to be a high-end content, like I said, for a bit of escapism, and it also gives, like I said, it's the interaction with the fans, giving the fans the ability to actually not just see these people through a screen, but the ability to actually, meet them at some point, if through their endeavor, I suppose is the way to put it. So, people rack up silly amounts of money on sites like that, and they get nothing. Well, they don't really get anything beneficial for it. But having the ability to actually reward people and give a little something back, that's what every product that we're involved in has the opportunity to do. In England, I don't know what the program's called. Oh, it's Jersey Shore in America, isn't it? And Warsaw Shore in Poland, and Geordie Shore, and Made in Chelsea. Paul knows all these people. He's worked with some top photographers out of America, Los Angeles. Like I said, he's worked all over the planet. He likes the Caribbean a lot because it's warm. And Thailand, he likes these because the scenery is beautiful. They're beautiful places. It's not someone's bedroom with a curtain over the window. It's a form of escapism and a form of art, and it's designed to provide some escapism and a little bit of quality for people at in the same price bracket as, like I said, your less desirable products, I think, is the way to do it, to say it.
Yeah. All right. So it's providing people a platform where they can basically just express themselves, and I don't know, maybe people can subscribe to those creators. Is there a fee for any of this, or where is the revenue being generated from? Is it like through ad revenue? Are you, creating a data library that you're selling? Where's the revenue coming from this?
Well, it's a subscription. It's a subscription format. So obviously, when people
Kind of
subscribe, what's that? Sorry,
like OnlyFans.
It's like that in one aspect with regards to the subscription model, because it works.
Right.
There are other ways of doing it as well. So, for instance, we're working on a specific channel where other projects can get their merch and have it in a specific format. So you can get a couple of girls or a couple of guys or a mixture, do some promoing for your product, or you can just get a photo shoot with your specific merch done. These kind of aspects, which are additional ways of generating revenue, utilizing the platform as well.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's the subscription model. A portion of that is going to the creator, and a portion of that is going back into the platform and the token. Now, these client verification portal or protocol, sorry. So that is what does that consist of? Is that basically like another KYC company, or
it's as KYC is the standard in the market? It's the same as with the OUPM. The closest thing you can compare it to is KYC. Whilst KYC is good, it has its pitfalls. the accountability, the data and information that is held and provided. Like I said earlier, you've got to protect people. Everyone has the right to, start a business, operate a business, and shouldn't be held accountable for every, bump in the road that's happened. But if there are things out there that are relevant to people, just knowing someone's name and address isn't really pertinent. The other side of that, obviously, is, again, it's a double-edged sword, because most people that commit, white-collar crime don't have a criminal record anyway. So you've got to look into, the financial background, which everyone says they do, financial background, what their history is, criminal checks, check their address history where they've lived. You can just take it on the face value of their current address, or you can go back and check their history over a longer period of time. It depends how in depth you want to go. And then you've also got to look at the support inside of that. Like Assure, for instance, have a really good system where they follow people up. They will pass the information on to the relevant, authorities with regards to pursuit. These are the type of things that you need to combine and put together, and make sure that you have a standard that is acceptable across the board. There are too many KYC platforms out there that aren't KYC, and they're doing the space a disservice. You get what you pay for. I think everyone accepts that. If you're paying $50 to flash ID and just have a video, and that classes you as KYC'd and doxed, then there's an issue. So I have spoken to Jonah at Anonidox, and I've spoken to El Chapo at Assure DeFi. They're really good guys. Both of their products are top notch, and they also believe that the space needs to be made more secure and moved forward. So with that in mind, we're looking to produce this product that has detailed information. So like I said, provide you guys with as much information as possible so you can make an informed decision on where you want to invest your hard-earned money. And that is not us acting independently either. Like I said, the other guys are great, and the beauty of it is we all understand that there are horses for courses, so to speak. So whilst we're in competition, it's not like any one of us is going to hold all of the market. So by coordinating, by talking, we can make the space safer and hopefully produce a product which we're proud of ourselves, independent of those guys, but also have a standard and a level of product that we can get the whole space to accept as, the standard, and anything below that should not be accepted as being a KYC. So we've been really, really lucky in the space to meet so many good people that are all working to pull the space out of the darkness and stop it being the Wild West and actually make a difference. The other thing, I will shut up in a minute, I promise. The other thing, obviously, is if we don't regulate and set some standard ourselves, then people that don't know about the space are just going to come in and they're going to, take a hammer, take a sledgehammer to the space, and we'll be lucky to get away with having anything close to identifiable as the space that we love. So it's up to us to step up and, start putting a few things in space to make sure that the space continues.
Yeah, definitely. So what kind of revenue are you looking at coming in from this CVP?
Well, we've dropped the price because we found that most of the original prices were just based on an arbitrary figure. So we've looked at the cost for criminal background checks in different countries because it varies. Obviously, your KYC check, then doing your background checks, etc. We have a margin, which we are looking to bring. If we do enough people, we will bring in enough to cover the business and also put a decent percentage back into the company. I'm not going to give specific numbers at this point because we haven't finished with the back end, and dependent on how much further development the back end takes and it costs, then we have to look at the ROI figures, and that will impact the price overall. But also CVP is the real world product. CVP3 is the web product, and there's also a difference between the two, because if you're going to do a KYC and a criminal background check, say for education or nursing, they are totally different than if you're going to do a project check, because there are other aspects of with regards to a project, more people involved in a project. For instance, we're partnered with Interfi, so Interfi do the audits. I don't like giving out specific figures just because you can be held to them and they can be inaccurate, especially when a product isn't 100% complete. Right. But I will say this, at the moment, most, and I'm not talking about Assured and Anonydocs, but a lot of KYC products out there are returning over 100% profit on the product, which you don't need to do really, do you?
No. All right, so like I said, you don't want to give out specific numbers right now because you don't know the specific numbers until the stuff actually happens. And
I've got a good idea, but
right. Well, I mean, just until everything's ironed out, till it's smoothed out. I don't want you to give any numbers that aren't specific. But what I do want to know is, how is this revenue going to be kept transparent on the blockchain? So obviously people are going to be paying for a lot of this stuff in fiat. How is this going to be kept transparent on the blockchain for the holders to know what's to be distributed to them?
Well, we are working on dApps, like I said. So if you receive payment in and it comes in electronically, it goes into a bank account. You can upload the data from the bank account onto the blockchain. It depends on which APIs that you have and how much data you want to put on there. If you have nothing to hide as a business, you shouldn't have an issue uploading the revenue that comes in. You don't have to put down, all of the transaction data on there. But if you uploaded the revenue generated that comes in to the business, you can upload that onto the blockchain. And then as it goes through the process, so like, let's just say if you uploaded £1,000 on there and you've got to pay, £300 to the staff, and you've got to pay £150 to overheads, and then the rest of the revenue is profit, you would then see that much money going through to the tokenomics side of things. So over time, we will try to educate people by making them aware. It's obviously the figures are variables, but you'll be able to tell when a good month is had and a bad month is had by the figures that are moving through the system. Right. Like I said, there's no reason not to upload the data.
You'll have your gross and your net columns.
There's no reason why you would hide any of the data as a business, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree, man. And that's, that's kind of why I was asking, what were the plans to, to keep it transparent for all the holders? I know you could go with like a third party, a third party auditing company or something like that could go through the books and figure out the exact revenue, the profit revenue. But as long, I mean, if you're doing it how you're saying, with having the gross and the net columns, you've got your gross, everything coming in, then you've got the net, the gross less the
Yep.
expenses and overhead,
Yep.
and then everybody knows what what
And
to
then
expect as far as returns.
yeah,
So
and if the system is also tied into your accountancy,
yeah,
then at the end of the year, or it takes a bit longer than a year, doesn't it? But once you produce your papers every year, you produce your records, then people can see the revenue that's gone through your system because they've got they've got the figures, and they can see the paperwork that's been provided by the accountants for tax purposes. If it doesn't correlate, there's an issue.
right, yeah. So Q2 of every year, you get an annual report from from the accountant, and then everybody is able to try and match that to the regular report chain.
Yeah, you put all the information up there. If someone wants to take a deep dive and you've put all of the data out there, then there shouldn't be an issue. If you're doing everything above board, you've got nothing to worry about. And this is what we want. This is one of the reasons why we believe blockchain is such it's the future. It's such an advantage to have that product in your business if you are being transparent. And if you adopt that type of practice, you can hope that others adopt that type. Obviously, some won't. But
Yeah.
if you adopt good business practice and your business then makes profit and produces greater revenue and takes a greater portion of the market share off your competitors, they will look at your business model, they will look at your business practices, and they will utilize them to become more competitive and try and get back some of the market share that they've lost. And if you have two or more competing businesses that are all being transparent and are actually vying for the client, it then returns power to the client because the client then actually has choice. At the moment, you have the illusion of choice. You don't have a real choice in most industries with regard, especially not housing. You don't have a choice. The mortgages have gone up from 20 years to
one ever inflating industry right there.
yeah.
So you really don't have a choice but to, prices do inflate. And if you're going to stay competitive with the market, then you're going to, those values are going to go up too.
Unless you change the business model totally and try and, rectify it in a way, like I said, that doesn't actually hurt anyone, doesn't cost anyone anything. Well, it does. It costs the corporations at the top end. But like I said, if you can just use the current system to tweak a few of the loopholes and bend a few of the regulations back in favor of the end user as opposed to the board and the corporate holders, then everyone makes money. It's not bad to make money. You just don't need to be that greedy. It's nice to make money, but it's, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, fortunately it's also the opinion of most of the people I work with and a lot of people in this space, it's much better to make money whilst helping people than make money climbing over the backs of people.
Yeah, definitely. 100%, man. All right. So we are rounding up on about 2 hours now. So let's touch on let's touch on a couple things here. Let's touch on the stacked acquisition. You've got some holders from Stacked coming in. You acquired some utilities from them. Let's touch on that real quick, and then after we can get into the pre-sale and everything that's going on with that.
Yeah, sure. We signed an NDA with Stacked back in the day because our system itself needed their type of product. So for OUPM, OUPP, you want to do checks on people. If you're moving people into properties, if you have the maintenance workers, all of the tradesmen, you want to make sure that they are of a standard. So we needed that type of system, not only for that, but for the other areas that we plan to move into with the utilities. We signed an NDA with Seb. We planned to use their product as our partner product, so we didn't have to produce our own. They got into difficulties, and we stepped in, and rather than just purchase the product and leave everyone in trouble, which it's just not in my nature to do. So we decided to take the product on board and offer the people that had invested and believed in AVS to come on board, and they could still see their dream through. The product that they believed in will go on, but they also then got the opportunity to have the rest of our ecosystem attached to it. It was the right thing to do, in my opinion, and I would do it again in a heartbeat with other projects if their product was something that was compatible with what we're doing moving forward. And we've met some really good people from the Stack community, and when we launch, they'll get their tokens, they can sell them, they can hold. The ratio was about 82%. So due to the difference in the circulating supply and the price when it went under compared to the price that we provided it to them at, they got a good return on their tokens. And then obviously we took AVS and we did with it what we were going to do with it as partners with them, but we've just done it on our own.
Yeah. So are they? I know for the pre-sale buyers and everything, there's a vesting schedule. The stacked holders are going to be on that same vesting schedule, correct?
Yeah, they are on the same. They are on the same vesting schedule, but they also receive an NFT with some company shares because they are early investors. So
Yeah, I mean that's you guys are. I mean that's actually super based for you to do that because without that these guys would have been left with nothing instead. So I really commend that. So yeah, let's get into the pre-sale and the vesting schedule if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, sure. The vesting schedule is 20% on listing and 20% a month after. We did have a different schedule, but on advice from the community, because we are community based, they didn't mind us vesting because obviously it's a way to secure the product, the product in its infancy. But obviously, especially in a bear market, you don't want to tie up people's revenue for too long. So looking at what we believe we can produce through the forecast for the energy brokerage and the other companies, We thought, 5 months was long enough to hold on to people's revenue. If they do decide to hold, there's a nice little surprise for people at the end of the vesting schedule, on top of the other surprise.
Well, that's good to hear. I like to hear about surprises. I did see you say in the chat, in your guys' chat, I saw you say something about kind of an announcement. Was there some alpha that you were gonna drop here for us today, or
This is the first. This is the first platform outside. We had an internal AMA, but this is the first platform, and you're the first people that we have announced officially that all holders of our token who are involved in the pre-sale will receive an NFT as an early adopter that does have company shares if you want them, because obviously you have to KYC because that's the law. So if you don't want them, then we may look at giving you a few extra tokens for your time. But we believe that most people, the reason you invest in things is to make money. We have multiple real world businesses. They're all involved in profitable areas. We'll give shares. You get passive income. You'll also receive dividends. So technically it's another revenue stream for you as well. And then that will create an additional secondary industry, which I can't talk about because lawgiver will tell me off.
All right. So, with you saying shares and dividends, now my question is, so that technically you guys, you're a publicly traded company?
No, we're not.
No? Okay. So
private.
So privately owned shares on a private company. Okay.
Yes, slightly different than publicly traded.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Just wanted to clarify that for everybody on here. That's awesome. So the pre-sale, what are the what are the requirements? When is it happening? And I know there's a 5-month vesting schedule. Is there anything unlocked at launch, or is it locked 100% for 5 months? Or is there some kind of unlocking schedule, like linear unlocking schedule?
Yeah, it's 20% on listing, 20% a month after. So you guys can get access to your money over a short period of time, or your tokens. And if you want to sell and take profit, you guys can do that over a short period of time. Pre-sale starts tomorrow on Gempad at 6 p.m. UTC. We have a very small pre-sale of soft cap of 35, hard cap of 70. Most of that is taken already. I know that for a fact. The people involved in that, because there's different levels of obviously NFTs with shares. Obviously, the people that invested in seed will get slightly rarer NFTs than the ones that invested in private, etc. And then we're doing a fair launch, so there's no vesting on the fair launch. No vesting on the fair launch.
The pre-sale, the opportunity to get the NFTs through pre-sales over. That was through seed and through on Novation, right?
Yeah, but also there's a small one on Gempad tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that was okay, and then the fair launch is after that. Okay, I got you. Yeah. All right. So the Gempad is 35 soft cap, 70 hard cap.
Yes.
And is it all public or is there whitelist for
All,
that?
all public.
All public. Okay. What
Yes.
time does that start?
6 p.m. UTC.
6 p.m. UTC. So I'll just dumb it down for the Easterners here. That is 2 p.m. EST, 11 a.m. PST. Everybody else, do your own research. uh, yeah, that's awesome. Is there a minimum and a maximum on this pre-sale on GymPad?
Yeah, minimum is 0.5, maximum is 10 B&B.
10 B&B. All right, that's a pretty big max on a pre-sale. What kind of allocation is that going to get you for a 10 B? Is that a max wallet or
Not quite a max wallet, no.
not quite a max wallet? So max wallet is a little bit over 10 B&B at launch.
Yep. The way that we've structured it is because this is something else that I feel that I should explain. Our total supply, because of the way that we are structured, not all of our tokens will ever be in total supply. In fact, you're probably looking at a maximum. I thought it was about 22.5% of the total supply that would ever be in circulation. But if you take into account staking, you're looking at about 37.5% is the maximum supply that will ever be in circulation. Also, with regards to the NFT, I can't say it because Lawgiver will all have words with me. But we're doing something with our tokenomics and the tokens we have, because we are obviously one of the most vulnerable areas of a business is the liquidity pool.
Right.
And if you can remove or minimize that aspect of a business while still providing good passive income, the ability to trade on a, if you want to be a day trader, then that's something that we are currently working on. We need the tokens because as a transitional product, the tokens will be locked, but we're working on some contracts that will move the space forward as well, because that's what we need to do. Like I said, we're trying to push the envelope and move our product to be a mainstream product and business. So we will keep a small liquidity pool for people that for people that don't want to, they don't want to KYC. They want to, they like the way things are done at the moment. And we will also have, we're not splitting the liquidity pool, by the way. It's not splitting the liquidity pool.
Getting what you're putting down here. So yeah, as far as people that want to stay DeFi, you're keeping that liquidity pool, and the other tokens are being held for the people that don't mind KYCing and going through a fiat on ramp. I get you.
Okay, good.
I got what you were putting down there, man. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, because I was going to ask where those were going, and that kind of answers that. So for mass adoption and wider, better adaptability to the outside world, to utilize this token for just to utilize the token, without having to jump in and buy B&B and go through all this stuff. You're going to have some supply set aside to get to them easier. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's a long-term plan, but I think it's what we need to do, like I said, to fulfill, what this product is supposed to be. Blockchain and crypto to me are amazing pieces of technology, and they are being utilized at the moment. But we need to stop fitting traditional business models into the DeFi space and then just living in the little bubble. And we need to start utilizing blockchain and crypto for what it was designed for and break the stranglehold that fiat has and actually, even up the playing field for a lot of people.
100%, man. All right. So, I think, we just hit 2 hours now. So, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So I'd say my only issue is just on the pre-sale with the 10 BNB. I think I think it's too big of a max contribution. It can create some big wallets and big holders in the future. Yes, anybody can buy a max bag, but max wallets at a very high market cap tend to scare a lot of people. So that's my only concern as far as that goes.
If I just clarify, the 10 BNB is a decision that was made based on the requests of our
the whales
community. No, we had people wanting more, but if you look at the max wallet's 0.1%, so 10 BNB is not 1%. It's the easiest way to do it. It is a big wallet. It is a fair size wallet, but like you said, we're just trying to be pragmatic about it. Like you said, people, if you had a max buy of 5 BNB, then they just create 4 wallets and buy what they're going to buy anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, but it makes it a lot easier for somebody to buy half the supply or buy half of the pre-sale with 4 wallets of 10 BNB. So, instead of creating 8 wallets or, whatever, it just makes it that much faster for them. And, I've seen it before and I've done it before. So I've bought whole pre-sales almost by myself before.
Yeah. So, I think it's a case, you are right, but to me, it's a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's always positives and negatives for pretty much every aspect of what you do in this space, and we believe that we found a good mix and a good balance. So we'll see where we come from.
As long as the like you said, as long as the tokenomics and stuff match up to it, that's not going to give somebody very much for a 0.5 contribution. But it definitely incentivizes people to contribute more. So, you could wind up with just seven people in pre-sale.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think the clarifying point is the Novation didn't complete, and the people from Novation still wanted an opportunity. So we were just doing fair launch, but we didn't think it was fair to those people that had put into that not to still give them the opportunity. That's why it's such a small pre-sale as opposed to a more traditional pre-sale. And most of it's gone. So I'm
assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming there's not going to be too many people public that are actually going to be able to get into this pre-sale unless they are super fast.
Yeah.
because, like you said, people are waiting from the novation sale to still get in. And, with a 70 B&B hard cap and a 10 B&B max contribution, I see this being gone in about 5 seconds. So,
Hopefully.
well, I mean, personally, I would hope not. I would hope that more smaller buyers could get in and, and contribute. More smaller contributors could get in instead of the just B&B buys real quick. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The people that have requested to buy back into this, I can promise you from the figures, most of them are not buying 10 B&B. So I know for a fact there are people out there that are spending 0.5. There's a couple of 0.2, a couple of 2s, 1.4, a couple of 3s, mainly 1s, and a couple of chaps that want to go to the top end. So it's not just going to be B7 people. He says.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's good. I mean, I didn't know who the people were. I just know, a lot of people that are, belly aching about the max, are trying to max out. So,
Yeah,
that's,
we've opened them both at the same time. So the fair launch and the pre-sale are open at the same time because the pre-sales are a special sale. It's not, like I said, it was for this specific reason, but with a little bit left over in case anyone here thought they wanted to, have the chance to have equity in real world businesses, then because we're trying to be fair, we're trying to give everyone a chance. And once we've got the NFTs minted, we'll see where we go. We'll be doing competitions. Hopefully, you've picked up the majority of what we want to do is be as fair as possible whilst generating revenue. The whole idea is to generate revenue and to make sure that everyone gets a bit of that revenue. It's to reduce the amount of dead spend that people have so that their income goes a little bit further. Just little things. So, I will shut up because, like I said, I know it's 2 hours, but with the energy brokerage, although we sell B2B contracts, we can also do retail contracts. So we can get the retail contract, we can put the retail contract in the portfolio so our clients aren't having to cover the cost of their utilities. So when they get their income, that goes a little further and hopefully helps. So it's just little things that you can do, that make a difference in the long run, I believe.
Yeah, man, definitely. Definitely. All right. So, I think we have basically touched on just about everything, unless you can think of something that I've missed. I'm going to go ahead and let you do, just one final pitch, just a quick elevator pitch for anybody hopping in late. And, unless you think I've missed something, I'm not even going to open it up for questions.
Yeah, no, I think you've been pretty thorough and you've covered everything. Thanks for having us. It's been great. Just like I said, we're a business. We do plan to generate revenue. The only difference is we are working to structure the dividends back to you guys by providing you access to every revenue stream that we can provide, either through tokens if you want to remain anonymous, or if you don't mind KYC, then you can actually own equity in the real world businesses. We have multiple real world businesses. They're all live. You can visit the websites, generate revenue. It's bootstrap. There's no VC. There's no massive whales. So all of the revenue that's redistributed, everyone gets a fair share, dependent on the amount of investment. And we will constantly be striving to innovate, to create more ways to reward people for being involved in this project. It is designed to be a long-term project, and hopefully we can make some real-world changes that drive adoption, bring more people into the space, and that benefits everyone here as well. So if you like what you've heard or you've got any more questions, just pop over and ask. Pre-sale is tomorrow. Fair launch on GemPad starts at 6 p.m. UTC. And obviously, thanks, Poppa, for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome having you, and I look forward actually to talking to you again tomorrow night on the Heat. As you guys are going to be the first seat on the Heat.
Looking forward to it. It's always best to go first.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it is. Actually, sometimes when it comes to things like that, sometimes I like to go last. I like to hear other people's answers before I formulate my own. But, the first is normally best because it's the most honest answer, in my opinion. So, that is definitely, you take the lead on that. So I'm looking forward to that. Real quick, does anybody have any questions? Anybody in the audience have any questions for Des? If not, then we will wrap this up, and I will ask everybody to stay around in the recording for a minute.
Yeah, hey guys.
Hey Jude, what's up, man?
Yeah. So it's been a nice presentation. I just wanted to throw this real quick, and it's gonna be about the social media platform. I was curious to know because you said that that would be coming along with artists and content creators and in general famous people. So I was thinking, is this going to be in a sort of TikTok model or Instagram model? Is this going to be like a video based social media platform? From what I read, and yeah, so that's just the question. How is it going to be like?
Yeah, thanks for that question. You can do videos on it. Is it going to be TikTok? No, not really. There will be aspects of multiple platforms that are utilised, obviously, to try and provide the best product available. It will evolve over time. Famous, yes. I wouldn't say mega famous because if you speak to anyone, all of the top people out there, they have their own platforms and they do their own thing. So it's not designed, you're not going to have your Kim Kardashians or your people like that on there, or anyone like that. That's not what it's designed for. It's designed to be, like I said, just a cut above the rest. It's got magazines, events, loads of different stuff just to try and, make it stand out from your more base level. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You're more base level, functional, similar type product.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think that'll be all from me, and there's Poppa here. I've already covered lots of things. I initially had a bunch of questions, so yeah, it's been a great AMA and great questions from the host back to you with the great answers. So yeah, it's been nice tuning in, and yeah, great stuff, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Really appreciate that. All right. Are there any other questions that I did not touch on? I know I'm a whole bunch of random, so it's I kind of bounce all over. If I think of a question, that's when I ask it.
Yeah, we'd have fun on a night out because I'm pretty random myself. My mind goes. I'm honestly like a rooster.
All over the place, man. But eventually we come to the full, the full conclusion, and I think we pretty much got there today. So that's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for attending Owners Unity. Oh, yeah, by the way, Owners Unity. Somebody pointed out for on your PFS, it says ownersunity.com at the top. Obviously, that is wrong. You might want to fix that.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks for that. When we were upgrading our website, we used ownersunity.com as the landing page whilst we was doing rebuilding this page. So I'll get that rectified. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That was James that pointed that out. Thank you, James, for doing that. First, I understand. I had to zoom in to see oh, okay. So all the links are posted in the chat. So everybody check those out. Ownersutility.com, which is one of the already live revenue streams, already live businesses that you guys can take a look at. And then there's I think it's OU token dot is the token site. So everybody check those, and ask any questions you might have, and check out the pre-sale tomorrow. And
can I just nick 1 minute off you, Poppa? Just I'll be because we didn't mention any of the partners. Just to give you a rough idea, since we've been around, we've partnered with Wi-Fi, we've partnered with Vault Finance, we've partnered with Interfi, we've partnered with Anonidocs, we've partnered with ROA, Newton Mint Labs, we've partnered with Merlin Telecommunications, Evolve Tech Online, energy professionals out of Clearwater, Florida, Vault Down 2020. They're real world and crypto based. So we've partnered with a lot of people, and I've not even mentioned half of them. It's just to give you an idea that we've made partnerships with some good, solid projects and businesses to drive this forward.
That's amazing, man. That is amazing. And like you said, you didn't even list off half of them. So, those are just off the top of your head. And I recognize quite a few of those names. Some of them aren't doing so hot right now, like Wi-Fi. But that's another topic for another day. But it does go to show your reach and the length and strength that you've been in this community. So sorry about that. All right. Well, with that said, let's wrap this up. Everybody, I want to thank you for coming to another AMA at Astronaut Lounge. This has been Owners Unity. It has been awesome having Des on here to tell us about the project. Des, thank you again, and thank everybody else. I'm going to end recording now before I kill my daughter.